So, hello everyone, we are live. I think Jijo is taking this session from an event. Hi Jijo, hi GP.
Hi.
जीजो कहीं बाहर हो where are you?
एक wedding ceremony है मैं बाहर आ गया I would go inside in another 20 minutes उसको बीच में क्या हुआ?
Congratulations, Jijo. On a lighter note, yeah. So let's go forward. Let's start with the analysis for the first CDC Pro. So guys, a lot of you have some questions at CDC Pro. अब जिन्होंने CDC Pro दे दिया है, have a very clear idea what it is about and how it is different from Flexi, CDC Flexi. Basically, it's a part of a series of 30 tests. Only difference is that this is a semi-proctored format where you pick a slot and you have to give that, take the mock in that particular slot so that it prepares you to give it in a particular slot during CAT. So that's the idea of the CDC Pro. And this was the first of its kind. And this is the 8th test that you are taking. So with that, let's jump into the CDC Pro 1 analysis. And GP, let's start with some questions. So we have a lot of questions that we've seen on Telegram and elsewhere.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to start with some data here. CAT 21 versus 22 versus 23 versus CDC Pro 1 and how it sort of pans out in terms of the scores versus percentile. So I would want you to start with a comment on this one before we go on.
See, score versus percentile, again, Sazil, the issue that I'm always struggling with is people are always saying this is close to CAT or not close to CAT. My problem is which CAT are you talking about? In front of you, you have CAT 21, 22, 23. Look at the 99.5 percentile number, it is varying. Similarly, if you go back, again, you will find a different number. And second part is, if 99.5 from 22 to 23 has gone down from 93.4 to 84.5, it is essentially because of Quant section, not because of the other two sections. Okay. But if you go back the earlier years, you will suddenly find Quant was higher and DILR was lower. So when I think we have this unhealthy fixation towards which CAT is this close to. That is this close to CAT 23 or not? No, I don't know whether it's close to CAT 23 or not, and I don't care whether it's close to CAT 23 or not, because what you are going to get in 24, you don't know. Okay, if the assumption is that you get CAT 23 and CAT 24, then that's a separate issue. But every year we see there are changes in the paper. Sometimes Quant will become easier or difficult. Sometimes DILR will change its colors, and sometimes it will go to be wobble. So to me, all these are meaningless numbers, and I will go a step further and say even percentile is a meaningless number to me, because as Jijo and I always maintain that mocks are about learning. They help you understand where you are going wrong, what are the corrective actions you need to take, where is it that you have a struggle in terms of the knowledge component, where is it your temperament is the issue. So that is what you need to look at. Okay, and historically we have seen, if you have a random sample of about 1,000 odd students, the percentiles are representative of the population. So to me, if you want to look at percentile, look at the latest paper. Within this paper, what is the status? That is fine. Yeah, if you want academically just to say, okay, this paper is close to this particular CAT, that's a separate issue. In fact, your data seems to be suggesting CAT 23 and the CDC Pro 1 are almost the same.
Almost the same.
Almost the same. Okay. Yeah. Definitely at the upper end.
So GP, I just want to reiterate a point that you very well mentioned, but slightly थोड़ा सा उसको मैं pull करना चाहता हूँ, that there is no single definition of what a CAT looks like, except that they have fixed a pattern of questions कि इतने questions quant के, इतने verbal के, इतने DILR के, इतने RC में, and so on. They've defined a certain larger format, but in that you can't say this is CAT level of difficulty is not a fixed thing. It changes depending on the section every year. So Quant might be different 2 years back, last year, and this year, and maybe next year. So please do not take one particular. There are a lot of people in the market speaking this कि CAT का ये level है, Calcutta आया तो ये करेगा. There is no fixed definition and there is no fixed pattern per se on the basis of which you can judge anything. that is what I'm just adding on to what GP said, and we will see this in the further slide as well. So I'm quickly moving on to a
Yeah.
next slide, which also represents a similar data, right? This is a person. This is a sort of, this gives you an idea of what percentile at what score. And if you look at the levels, अगर score समझ में नहीं आया table देख के, तो आपको ये समझ में आ जाएगा कि look at the red bar with the adjoining bar, the next one. So the CAT 23 and the CDC Pro 1, and it is at the same level. So 22, 23 CDC Pro are more or less आगे पीछे, slightly different, right? So basically, all the mocks. So to answer the question that the students are asking, was CDC Pro 1 equivalent to CAT? If there is a single definition, yes, because it is closer to the CAT 23 and quite much to CAT 22 also in some sense.
I mean, there is just want to add one thing. I don't know whether I'm audible. Okay.
Yes, you are.
I'm outside. So there are a
You're
couple of things. First of all, that's the wrong question to ask. Whether the CAT it is CAT level or not. The question to ask is, what did you do? Okay. What did I do in this particular paper is the question that I should ask. I got this particular mark. Could have got something more. Number two is that the whole discussion about kiska CAT, uska CAT. So look at, for example, CAT 2017. CAT 2017 is conducted by IIM Lucknow. CAT 2023 was IIM Lucknow. The maths in 2017 was very easy, and maths in 2023 was very, very difficult. And people are saying that just because one particular school is going to conduct a paper, people have. IIM Calcutta, for example, has changed the director 3 times since they conducted last CAT. उसका खुद का directory change हुआ है 3 साल में 3 बार. Okay, so the whole this random discussion. So I think the discussion comes from I got a particular score in this particular CAT. What is going to happen in my actual CAT? I think that is a worry that most of the people have. To answer that particular question, the real question that you guys have to ask yourself is, if this was a paper, okay, what was your performance to your fullest? What are the kind of mistakes that you made? What are the kind of questions that you unnecessarily wasted time on? What are the kind of questions that you missed? What did you make any silly errors? I think getting into analysis part should be more important than this random discussion about whether it is CAT level. Of course, it's going to be the CAT level. Like GP said, talk about CAT level this year. I'm also saying GP, which slot? Okay, we had slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, which is every single year. Every single year, CAT is like 3 papers, and some gets scaled up, some get scaled down. So within a particular year, still there is no bloody consistency in the 3 tests. I don't know why these people are even discussing what is CAT like. The only question that you ask is, if this was CAT, would you have gotten why? That is a simple question that you would ask yourself. I think that is the perspective that you need. Sorry.
No, Jijo, I want to add to that. And there's a thing that GP and I were discussing today. There's some person somewhere sitting in his room who made a video that पहले 8 questions algebra होते हैं. In CAT, first 8 questions are algebra. Now, first 8 questions are different for me and different for GP and different for you. Now, for different slots. So it need not be the same. Am I right, GP?
Yeah, end of the day, there are 22 questions and there are 22 factorial ways of giving that paper. So कुछ भी आ सकता है. Okay, so I don't think we need to be bothered about such things. People will say what they want, and we need to go only by data. In fact, if you would go to the next slide, I'm sure Jijo and Lavi will also have their very interesting. They will give their interesting observations.
So first question before I go to that, GP. So let's answer this once and for all. Is the IMC is conducting CAT 24, which had conducted 2018 and 2011. So in the last 10 years, it has conducted CAT once. So वो 6 साल पहले का CAT or the way they designed CAT, how much should I take away is the question. Because as we also discussed, that pattern is always 3-4 चीजों पे pattern बनता है. When you have 3-4 data points, you can create a pattern. From one data point, you cannot create a pattern saying कि Calcutta ऐसा करेगा या लखनऊ ने ऐसा किया था तो लखनऊ भी ऐसा करेगा and so on. I think that is a very wrong. And even the format in 2018 was different. It was a 180-minute test with 100 questions. Now it is a 120-minute with 66 questions. So first of all, to assume that how the test will be, market में बहुत लोग कर रहे हैं भाई. My request to the students is to not, listen to it, but don't pay too much heed. Don't take it very seriously.
Sajil, I don't think anybody is listening. I think that all our kids are smart enough to understand.
Let's hope so. Hope so.
I'm sure 100%. It's hard to understand that just because CAT created a paper last time like this one, I have seen these analyses. So somebody can sit and make whatever analysis to happen. I'm again saying this is completely irrelevant. What is relevant is the paper that you had in hand. What you do with the paper. Anyway, I'm sure that this data will give some interesting stuff. I don't know what is the data about.
Right, right. So here is the data. Ravi and Jijo and GP, please comment on this, because I see a similarity in how Bangalore conducted it way back in 2016 and then in 2022. But where the Lucknow, like what Jijo was talking about, here's the data. Lucknow 2017 May was 76% for 99 percentile, 76% of the marks, right? Whereas in last year, in 2023, it was 39%. It was half as much. So Lucknow ने same paper नहीं बनाया 2017 or 2023 में. If Lucknow has not done it, what makes us conclude that Calcutta exactly वही follow करेगा? There's no pattern, right? GP, please comment. Ravi?
So at that time, last time Calcutta conducted the paper, petrol 75 रुपए का था यार. A lot of things change. Okay. There, I mean, as Jijo has rightly pointed out, the last time Lucknow had conducted versus 2023, Zamin Asman ka fark tha in the way Quant was asked in the paper, right? So, a lot of things changed. The culture in most of the colleges have changed. Calcutta has started giving marks for women students, which Calcutta did not do in 2018. Their own admission criteria has changed. A lot of these things will go into the discussion, and they will probably finally decide, okay, acha aisa banana hai. This is the kind of students that we want. So a lot of things have changed. Newer courses have been added. Business analytics courses have been added. They have been offering marks for non-engineers and all of these things. A lot of things are happening around in the world, and it is not there is no single data point suggesting that whatever they have done in the past is what they will do in the future. So I would say just stick to your game plan. What is your game plan? मुझे पढ़ाई करनी है, मुझे पेपर में अच्छा करना है. If the question is in front of me, I don't know it, I will leave it. If I know it, I'll solve it. Right? And whatever marks you get at the end of the day, which is required for making the table that is there on the screen, is a function of how you and everyone else in the paper is performing. Right? So there are too many uncontrollable factors. It's best that we don't think about that. What is in your control is how your preparation can be paced and how your strategy is made to attempt the paper.
Great. So I think the point is made, and Silky Negi is saying this in the chat too. All this data is futile because jo bhi hai, jaisa bhi hai, we have to do good in the paper. So that's exactly the point, right? Before we move on to the analysis now, Captain Cook ka ek question hai which I want to take up. Right? How many people have given CDC Pro? So when we designed, we made this PPT, when we used the data, it was around 2,600. It would have crossed well over 3,000 by now, right? So that is the number of students. And some students also ask that how the percentile, it is depending on this number of 3,000, and hence it is very, so statistically the 3,000 or a lakh doesn't, or 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs, it doesn't make too much of a variance in that sense. So I think this is a very good representation there. And with that, let's move on to the CDC Pro 1 analysis. Let's delve into it. So GP, Ravi, over to you.
I think BARC, if you begin with it, I think Jijo will be the best person to talk about BARC. I will not stick my neck out there. But DILR, I felt that somewhere it was a paper where someone who loves numbers would have prospered. Someone who probably is not very comfortable with numbers and was looking for 5 people coming from 5 cities wearing 5 different color shirts kind of questions would have struggled a lot, right? So it was that kind of a paper. That is why we keep saying, though number system quant mein ek ya do hi questions aata hai, but DILR is heavily dependent on numbers. If at least you're not practicing a lot of number system, you should be able to grasp the juice out of it in terms of factors, odd numbers, prime numbers, these basic concepts of numbers. If done properly, students should have been able to score a little more in DILR. But while actually recording the solutions also, I felt that about 8 to 10 questions is a good attempt in this paper. Anything more than 12 is a great attempt in this paper, and that is what the data is also suggestive of. So
instantly Ravi, I made the DILR overview video. I said exactly the same thing. 8 is a good attempt. 12 is an outstanding attempt. Going beyond 12, तो भाई ऐश हो गई तुम्हारी. So this is a paper, good paper. Again, I would not be worried about the cricket wala set, but I'm sure some people will be very happy looking at the cricket set. Okay.
Jijo, VRC, quick comment.
Jijo, can't hear you.
Yeah, you are on. You can hear you.
I said the next one is VR, so I'll pick it up.
So overall, very quick overview of Quant. How did you feel? How did you find Quant?
I think I did not go through the entire Quant GP. I just ran my eyes through the first 10 odd questions in Quant, and I felt that this could have been done. I mean, I found 6 to 7 questions out of the first 10 itself that could have been attempted. So 38, 35 marks for 99 percentile is suggestive of that, because last year when you look at the CAT, the way the CAT was in across all the slots, about 27, 28 marks was very good in Quant, right? So this was slightly on the easier side, but at the same time, this could be compared with something like a CAT 2022 or a 2021 ka slot 3 is what I mean.
In fact, I want to add to this. I've been out of touch with Quant for a while now, but I also was able to 10-12 minutes I was able to spend on the section. And मुझे पहले 10-12 क्वेश्चन में से 6 क्वेश्चन मिल गए थे, which I could solve very easily. So 2 minutes per question, I was happy. मेरे 6-7 क्वेश्चन निकल गए पहले में से. So it was a very good one that way.
So let's get started with verbal and give Jijo the phone.
Jijo, over to you.
Yeah. So basically, since I'm using the phone, I can't see the numbers, but I have seen it before. So I think if you kind of look at the marks across each of the percentiles, and then for a moment assuming that these are statistically valid ones, this distribution is not surprising, because so one of the challenge that happens with VRC, of course, is that there are these 24 questions, and we have just 40 minutes, and there are only very few people who can actually look at all the 24 questions. Some of them naturally not going to look at 24 questions, maybe solve 3 passages, some will dig just a few questions. And within that, there will be a sense of accuracy. I think the next slide will give you a good understanding in terms of what happens. If you can, so okay, this is accuracy versus attempt chart. So if you look at that, whatever area here, that is a percentage of students who attempt the question, and the bar chart gives you the percentage of students who got that question correct. Right, so and then we color coded. So let's say anything about 60% accuracy is green, 40 to 60 is yellow, and the rest is red. So let's assume the red is hard. Yellow is medium, and second is blue. Now let's say look at the first passage, RC1. The passage doesn't privacy.
Jijo, one
Yeah.
second. Can you hold the mouthpiece a little closer?
Abhi theek hai?
Much better.
Best.
Okay. So what I was saying is that so let's take the first passage. Okay, if you look at the first passage, that passage was on privacy. And look at the amount of people attempt the passage. About 85% of them attempt the passage. Look at the number of attempt of second passage, which was on, I believe, eugenics. That's what I think. Yeah, that was attempted by about 40%. The third passage ekdam gir gaya. Now I have to recall what the third passage was. The last passage was on punishment.
Antitrust policy wala tha.
Antitrust policy, वो एको देके public ditch किया. So one of the things that people did not sort of gather is that the first passage was taken from an encyclopedia of philosophy. It was a philosophical discussion on privacy, right? And the second thing was, if I look at the questions within them, you have question number 2 and question number 3 is red. Question number 4 is ekdam green. So one thing that everybody needs to understand is that a passage easy, passage difficult is a very wrong way of looking at things. But how do I define what a passage easy means? Can I define passage 1 as easy? Can I define passage 3 as easy? Which passage will I define as easy? Most of the time, people's definition of easy passage is based on how difficult or challenging it is to read the passage. But everybody forgets that there are questions, and everybody forgets that ultimately the challenge that is going to come from reading comprehension is in the options. Options challenge jeta hai. But if you look at question number 2, 15, I think 60% went for one answer choice, which was wrong. and there was a clear wrong answer choice. People marked the wrong answer choice. They just fell for the trap. You look at, for example, the passage on two passages, second passage. Those students who just understood what the passage was saying, the passage only talked about one thing, would have got this question, all the question correct. Passage number 3 also same story. Passage number 4 also same story. So I think the problem starts happening when people decide that मैं 3 RC करूँगा या 2 RC करूँगा पेपर के पहले से ही. They decide they're going to do, and then what they have to do is that since they've decided they're going to do 3 RC or 3 RC only, they have decided beforehand itself that वो 4 question मैं करूँगा नहीं. I will not solve the 4 questions. Once they have decided like that, they will have to spend time in the remaining question and waste time and stuff like that. I think one of the key thing, I'm not asking you to solve all the 4 passages or solve 3 passages, but I'm merely saying that in the month of June, if your attitude is that I will keep leaving passages, in CAT you're going to leave passages. Your attitude should be I will solve as many questions as I can. And if I end up solving 3 passages, that is fine. That has been an outcome of what happened in the paper. That cannot be the decision in the beginning of the paper. So if, let's say, somebody would have decided, I'm going to just keep solving the question as I can, and I'll keep ditching the question that I cannot, and probably students will have ditched a few questions, would have got little time. The biggest time waste happens in options. Biggest time waste happens in eliminating options or evaluating options. And some GP would say this. I think a lot of time what happens is that people just read the passage so fast because they're whatever pressured with time. They read faster than their comprehension, pace of comprehension, and then they go to the question and get confused. All right, so that is with respect to that. Look at, for example, what happened in VA. Paragraph completion or odd sentence question. Oh, some of these are very tricky ones. I would say that the odd sentence questions were very tricky. The paragraph jumble had very appealing stuff. The paragraph summary, one of them was also the passage was kind of very convoluted one, difficult to understand. So the paragraph completion question a problem, but it also reflects on. Probably, I'm just saying, reflects on at least many of the students who are basically ignored VA exists. VA is like 2 RC passages. VA is like 8 questions. And if you go back to the slide, I think that 75% will be about 15 marks. Okay, that is across board. I think across all the last 3-4 years, including this, about 15 marks. 15 marks is 5 questions. मतलब तुमको VA से ही 75% निकालना है रैंक. तो VA से अगर तुम VA से 5 निकालोगे, आज जून में है. I think that if you don't make a choice of, let's say, learning from how are we going to do this, you cannot start by saying that I always find paragraph jumbled tough, I always find this stuff. I think whatever you find tough, we still have time. You have to address those issues. The only thing I want to leave this with everyone is that, look, it doesn't matter what your score is. Okay, but what really matters is that the first thing that you got to do is that you guys have to redo the questions once again without any time limit. You need to understand what the problem was. Was it a problem of skill, that you don't have skill, or is a problem that you had the skill but you did not implement it well in the exam? The only way that you'll come to know is when you redo all the questions once again. Before you look at the video solution, or before you look at my solution, you have to take the time in terms of redoing the question once again without looking at the option, then watch the video. And I will strongly urge you to watch the video. I've recorded video solution to all of these. I've taken extra time on those questions where students struggle. I try to explain as much as possible in terms of the trap that he fell into. I think that you will find this to be an absolutely fantastic learning opportunity for you. This particular the challenges that this particular test has given, and of course every single mock test in every single area. In fact, not just VRC, DLR, and QA. That challenge, I think that learning you got to have, and hopefully by the time you hit November, all the skills are taken care of. All right, there you go. Can I leave?
I just want to quickly add a couple of things, Jijo, and tell me if you agree. The last 8 questions, जो ये लोगों ने attempt करना शुरू किया है, in the earlier test it was a problem. The problem was that people never used to attempt it. So early few tests, I'm just happy that they started attempting.
Okay, all right, okay.
It might just take some time to get them right. So don't stop attempting because they are wrong. In fact, what Jijo said, make sure that you go back and solve them again and see what got them right or what got them wrong. Right, so please do attempt these questions in the mock and outside. Do practice them and you'll get better over time, because it's just a consistent practice which will get you there. So yeah, that's what I want to
I just want to add something, and I'm basically adding to what Jijo said. Drupal says I can attempt 2 LC, 2 LR with 100% accuracy, then I pick the toughest set. How to pick and choose, especially in RC. Again, while the anticipate what Jesus said, don't look at choosing RC sets. You cannot choose right RC set without going through the questions. And for going through the question, you need to go through the passage. So you read the passage. If you find the question confusing, keep leaving it and moving on. So there's nothing like in RC, there's nothing like choosing a passage. You do all the passages, keep leaving the questions where you get confused and keep moving. That's the only thing you need to do. So the moment you get down to saying I have to choose a RC passage, we have started digging your grave.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next one, Jijo.
Sorry, Cecil, I'll have to leave now. I'll have to,
Okay.
have to go back
No
to the wedding reception.
Bye.
Yeah. I'll see you all. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so let's quickly move on to DILR section. Before we do that, and I hand over to Ravi and GP, there's a question by Shubhra. Will there be a DILR 1000 course like VARC 1000? Yes, very much. It is coming soon. Watch this space. We'll inform you as soon as it does. Right. So yeah, please.
Okay.
Yep. So previously, in the last 3-4 years of CAT, wherever I felt that one could attempt 10 questions. Anything greater than 12, 13 would be a great attempt in the CATs actually. But when I looked at this paper, I felt that one could attempt 8 to 10 questions. I mean, in that range. So it was a tad tougher than the last 2-3 years of the CAT. But the problem with this paper, GP, was not that the questions were difficult. The problem actually is that there was no clear ball that I could have left. Clearly. I mean, every set, when I looked at it, in the first 2-3 minutes, I did not feel that I will not be able to solve it. So, it was a very tough decision to come out of a set. So it was a very tough decision to choose कि साला करे तो कौन सा 2 वाले करने हैं और कौन सा 2 छोड़ने हैं. I think that is where, and that is where, because if you look at the first set, it was based on a little bit of time, speed and distance and percentages. Could have been, I mean, anyone who has done arithmetic will feel lured towards it. If you look at the second set, cricket, सारा देश में 80% जनता cricket देखता है. So it was luring again. If you look at the third set, it was arrangements with one column only, right? One column, 15 people and one column arrangement. If you look at the fourth set, it was based on medians and the numbers are not difficult. So none of the sets was easy to leave, and that is where I think it was the trick lied choosing which ones to solve. But irrespective of which 2 sets one would have picked to solve, I felt that there was time to go through both the sets. I mean, कोई भी 2 सेट उठाओ और बनाओ वाला पेपर था ये.
हाँ रवि, इसमें ना मैं थोड़ा सा ओपिनियन तुमसे डिफरेंट है. I completely agree. All 4 sets look doable and tempting. And in such a situation, my logic would be, where is it I will need to do more amount of work? That is the set I would not be keen to attempt. And there I felt कि यार क्रिकेट वाले पे लगता है काम ज्यादा करना होगा. Because they said that 7 to 12 उनके 22 rounds हैं. Obviously, I need to make cases. 1 to 7, 1 to 6, again, I need to make cases of numbers. So my feeling was, this is a set where probably the amount of work required is high. And if I remember, the questions also were such, which gave an indication that there will not be a single unique solution.
Correct.
But so which is what made me think maybe this is not a set I want to do. Time, speed, distance, you're absolutely right. In fact, that's the set I would start with. Because
but Sajil, can you go to the next slide?
I'll do that. Yeah.
For the first set, GP, only 30% people attempted it.
So
see, when I looked at the set, GP, and I read the questions, 1, it was based on basic percentages and time, speed and distance. 2, all the 5 questions were definite answer questions. Means you spend 10 to 12 minutes on the table. वो table तुम्हारा बन जाएगा. So there was no way you can get questions wrong in this. Right?
Yeah. And in fact, Ravi, what you said is absolutely right. That the choices, all 5 questions were definite answers. ये तो पक्का करने वाला था. इसमें कहाँ गलती की है? उसमें Again, if you look at the percentages also, in each of those rows, for those 4 people, I think there are 4 people and 4 laps. No? So for 4 people, 2 percentages were given, and 2 of them the percentage were adding to 50%. That means the other 2 will also be 50%. 2 of them they were adding up to 55. That means the other 2 will be 45%. So it was a straightforward set. I'm actually perplexed when I'm looking at this graph.
In fact, JP, if you remember last night, I had put a message in the group saying that set 1 and set 4 would be my choice, and but I'm also surprised to see that set 1 was attempted by lesser number of people, and more people
Not only
wanted
that, error rate is fairly high.
Yes,
the accuracy is low. My sequence in this paper would be set 1, followed by set 4, followed by set 3.
correct.
That is the way I attempted the paper. And in set 4, I will look at only question 1, 2, 3. I will leave 4, 5 because my काम करना पड़ेगा.
Correct.
Okay, so which is why I said first set 5 questions, fourth set 3 questions, and then the third set maybe another 3 to 4 questions.
In fact, see, JP, if you look at all of these 4 sets individually, I think there is one specific learning that you can take from each of the sets. If you look at set 1, this is the type of set, as I mentioned, this is the type of set, जिसमें you spend even 15 minutes to make the entire table. In the next 2 minutes, you will be able to solve all 5 questions, 15 marks pakka. That was that kind of a set. If you look at the second set, cricket ka logic tha. So it was something that was luring. It was something that was luring. But if you look at it, there was too much data given, too many conditions given, like 4 odd numbers, 4 prime numbers. A lot of things were happening in that. 5 people at the bottom were scoring something. Position 3 and position 5, highest and second highest. The top 4 people scored 100. A lot of things had to be taken together and put on one paper. That was something that I would have preferred to leave. If you look at the learning from the third set, it is luring on the outside. But if you look at the people who have got this question wrong, I mean, question 2 and question 5 in that, right? Because it had, again, some number logic later involved in that, right? Even if you read the questions at the first glance, you'll understand I'll only be able to solve probably the first 2-3 questions of it. The remaining के लिए मेरे को थोड़ा सा और मेहनत करना है. So this is ideally to me not the first preference of question, because I will spend some time in forming the table, and even after spending that 6, 7, 8, 10 minutes of time on forming the table, I'll be only able to solve 3 questions. And the same kind of learning can be picked from the fourth set.
Okay. So before we move on to quant, quickly there is one question that I want to address. सर LRDI ने इतना डिमोटिवेट कर दिया कि QA भी नहीं हो पाया. गाइस, अगर ये होने वाला है ना, तो इसको पहले सुधारो, बिकॉज दिस इज गोइंग टू अफेक्ट यू. आपको एक सेक्शन का हैंगओवर, किसी भी एक सेक्शन का हैंगओवर कैन नॉट बी अप्लाइड टू द नेक्स्ट वन. इफ यू डू दैट, राइट, यू आर फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग you've lost the game. You have to play each game as a separate one, because understand, for example, मान लो DI बहुत टफ आया, राइट, सबके लिए टफ है. It's a common denominator for everyone, and hence the cutoff might just go down. But in doing that, if you spoil your QA, right, then you are making a mistake, because QA might have been doable. So you did injustice to yourself. So you never do that. एक section का hangover दूसरे पे carry forward नहीं करना है. ये लिख के ले लो कहीं पे भी.
Just remember that in the game of India versus Pakistan, after 12 overs were bowled in the second innings, the win predictor was showing 12% in the favor of India.
14th over में मैंने देखना शुरू किया वापस वाल.
Yeah, so things change. I mean, I think GP, I think this is one thing that you keep saying every time. I will just reiterate that. This is not one paper. CAT is 3 separate papers. Okay, VARC is a separate paper in itself, DILR is a separate exam in itself, and Quant is a separate exam in itself. VARC, if you are feeling tough, it may be tough for everyone. You have to carry that attitude when you are writing the paper. Similarly, in DILR, also you have to look at those 40 minutes separately and tell yourself, this is how I'm going to go about it. If I am feeling tough, feeling that the paper is tough or the questions are tough, then probably everyone is going to feel tough about it. But QA is another day. QA is another thing altogether. You cannot carry baggage from what happened in the IPL to the Cricket World Cup, or Hardik Pandya would never have taken 7 wickets in the World Cup so far. Okay, it doesn't work like that.
Yes, I'll pick up a couple of questions. Subra says, no set was fully solvable. Why are you worried about solving the set fully? Please remember, if you mark answers to all 5 questions correctly, you don't get any bonus marks. You do 5 questions from 4 different sets, you'll still get the same 15 marks. So don't fall into this trap कि पूरा set करना है, नहीं करना. Set के अंदर there are difficult questions, keep leaving those questions. That's extremely important. If you don't do that, you will end up wasting a lot of time. Okay. And this is the second thing. Gray, I started with the median set, left it in 4 minutes and started cricket, went through condition, wasted entire time, put some random answers and got to right somehow. The choice of set is extremely important. And which is why I would request you to, or suggest to you, that please go through the DILR overview video which I have made and go through the video solution by Ravi. You realize that there were sets which were doable, but there has to be method in your madness. You cannot just keep randomly going all over the paper, because that is a short disaster formula.
Great.
Yeah, a couple of questions more. And then this one. Sitting arrangement, as Ravi said, very tempting, but the way the data was given was very different. How between 2 people, how many people are there sitting? So the way the data was structured was different, and there possibly you need to take maybe half a minute, 1 minute to understand how to go about doing it. If you treat it like your regular data set, जहाँ पे दिया है कि left पे ये बैठा है, right पे ये बैठा है, you cannot even start that particular set. Okay. Yeah. Harshita, this is what Ravi had said. Tempting cricket हम सबके लिए है. But when you look at that data, when you look at the questions, you can clearly say it will lead to lots of cases. It will lead to lots of cases, and hence this is something you should be not worrying about.
I mean, many points have to be noted down separately somewhere and had to be referred to again in the cricket wala set, right? 7 to 12 कुछ कर रहा था, विकेट कीपर कुछ और ही कर रहा था, अपना अलग में सब चल रहे हैं, ओपनर लोग कुछ मल्टीपल ऑफ प्राइम नंबर परफेक्ट स्क्वायर चल रहा है.
इनफैक्ट इसमें था ना एक क्वेश्चन था, which of the following statements if given will help us to find everything completely, something like that.
Correct.
That clearly told you multiple cases बनेंगे, क्यों टाइम बर्बाद कर रहे हो, बाद में सोचना. Out of these 5, maybe 2 or 3
that was in set 3, I think. That was in set 3. In the seating arrangement वाला.
हाँ, मैं seating arrangement का कह रहा था. Seating arrangement में, not cricket, sorry. ठीक है. Any other question? So I think we can move to the other section, Quant.
Yep.
Yes.
And Gio, sorry, Sazil, if you can just share where the attempts, etc. are there.
So all the attempts or all the videos, solution videos के अलावा जो videos हैं, are there in your analysis section under strategy videos. So analysis में ही है. If you see, go to analysis page, you find different tabs on the top menu. So one of the menus, you have all the videos together where GP ka Jugaad and any other, for example, live attempts.
Just for the record, I will be creating the Jugaad video tomorrow. I have made the video for the DILR overview and Quant overview, which tells you how you go about choosing the right sets of data and how would I attempt that section and what is the sequence I will follow in terms of attempting the paper. And the same thing for Quant is what I made, but the Jugaad video I'll create it tomorrow.
So एक और चीज है जो 2 लोग बोल रहे हैं कि this was my worst score ever, and that's okay. अगर ये आपका worst score है तो it is okay, you've done better and you'll do better. Okay, don't consider too many outliers. See what you did wrong, analyze right, solve the test again, and move on.
Yeah.
Move on to the next one.
Yeah. So just a quick word. Sudoku जो कर रहे हैं, please continue doing it. Others also please practice Sudoku and other stuff which comes in these papers. Though it is not that in CAT you will get a Sudoku, but doing the such stuff keeps you agile, keeps you on your toes.
Right. So let's get into the QA section then. There you go.
QA.
So this one was a pretty good one,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, this was what I would say. This is a paper which was not like that CAT 23 quant. This was more like a CAT 21 or 22 quant, which was about 12 to 13 questions for a 99 percentile, so which is fine.
GP, if you may,
sorry.
I just want to reiterate the point that again, CAT कौन सा है उस पे डिपेंड करता है, बट CAT का एक लेवल ऑफ डिफिकल्टी नहीं है किसी भी सेक्शन का. So please do not judge that. So with that, let's go on. I just wanted to reiterate that point.
Yeah. And similarly, had we put data for CAT 20, CAT 20 was an easier paper because of COVID wala paper tha.
Yeah.
And that year the pattern changed. So whenever the pattern changes, a new kind of structure comes in, the paper becomes easy. But by and large, if you look at CAT over the years, and I will go back till 1990 to 2023, in general, 50% is a very good score in CAT. Quant especially. Overall, 99 percentile is typically about 45-50% marks. So if you are getting somewhere around 50% in a section, that means you are doing fine. Yeah. 66, I'm happy. लोगों ने जुगाड़ लगा लिया लगता है. ठीक है. So again, if you look at the questions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions, only 6 questions only, which are 5 questions, which are green. Very, very surprising. I felt there would be larger number of greens actually.
I'm surprised about the 49th one. 49th one was doable. Shall I share the question paper also?
Yeah, please share.
GP, one question on the slide. Do you think that if the order of questions was exactly reverse, would the previous slide have looked different?
Absolutely, would have looked much better. See, the issue is many times we get stuck with this paper कि ये पेपर को आसान सवाल आया ये मुश्किल आया. Because you don't know what paper you are going to get, and you have to learn to handle whatever paper, because as we always say, 22 factorial ways of giving the paper. It is not that all of us will get the same. Yes, the question will be the same in a given slot. While the question will be the same in a given slot, each one of us is, for all practical purposes, going to get a different sequence of questions. So, if you are lucky, you will get initially easy questions. But if you are not lucky and you get difficult questions initially, you have to learn to leave those questions. Just because they are the initial questions does not mean I have to attempt them. I have to leave them also. Okay? For example, if you look at here, question 46. Now, I am sure for many people, this would be a round to or not to be attempted question 46. Okay? 1 by n plus 1 by n is equal to 1 by 2 ax square plus bx equal to minus c equal to 0, where a, b, c are consecutive terms of a non-constant geometric progression.
Zoom in a little. 100%. Yeah.
Okay. So when you look at this question, I don't know what is the percentage attempt. So if you can just check that, what is the percentage attempt? But there's a question I would felt that maybe many students should be leaving. On the contrary, 47 is something that practically all students should be attempting. Yeah.
30%.
Yeah. 49, 50 are high attempts and low accuracy. Okay. Yeah, so you can go back to the question paper.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
You can see the slide. Can you go back to the question paper?
Okay, just a second. Is it visible now?
नहीं.
No, sir.
नहीं. अच्छा मैं वापस शेयर करता हूँ.
एक मिनट करो. Let me एक मिनट करो. अच्छा.
Shall I do it again?
Yeah, please share.
You can see GP. I have shared.
No, I can't.
Okay, I've done it again. Let me know if you can see it.
Yes, I can see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So I'll quickly go through the paper. Question 47 was that simple ratios question. Yeah, you'll need to do it a couple of times, but there's a question which is doable. Question 48 is a question everyone should be attempting. Please draw the figure. And look at the good thing about this: x equal to 2, y equal to 1, and y axis. 3 lines are given to you straight away. It's the fourth line which you need to draw. Put x equal to 0, x equal to 1, x equal to 2, draw the line, get the figure. It'll come out to be a trapezium. Solve, end of the story. Same thing, 49. Okay.
49 was just multiplying and just missing
Simple.
the logic.
You see, it is one of those questions, a frog inside a well, he jumps up 3 meters and then slides down 1 meter. ये वो सवाल है यार, ये वो सवाल है. And question 50 में क्या करना है? Put n की value and solve. Obviously, n equal to 0 gives me 1. N equal to 1 satisfies the condition. N equal to 2 will go beyond. End of the story. Now go towards the negative side. Question 50 is a typical Jugaad question. Question 51 is again a Jugaad question. Assume there are 10 patients in the hospital. 3 are non-vegetarian, 7 are vegetarian. Assume the total expenditure is 100 rupees. Out of 100 rupees, 40 rupees is for non-vegetarian people and 60 rupees is for vegetarian. Get the average for both of them, get the ratio. Now, if you are going to miss out on questions like question 50 and 51, these are basic Jugaad questions. Then there is a challenge. I can understand if some people don't do question 52. It's a confusion of the factors, though it's an easy question. But 51 missing out, मेरे को नहीं समझ आता. Okay. My guess is in question 52, many people would have missed out on the word even. The number of positive even numbers. मेरे को लगता है even कईयों ने miss किया होगा and hence गलत भी किया होगा.
I made that mistake. Yes.
Okay. ठीक है. 53. If you again we have talked about we keep talking about the Jugaad of 30, 60, 90 right triangle, 45, 45, 90. या सेमी सर्कल में मैक्सिमम अगर तुम्हें करना है वैल्यू AC has to be equal to BC.
Yes.
Angle in a semicircle will be a right angle 45, 45, 90. If the diameter is 8, the other two sides will be 8 by root 3, 8 by root 2 and 8 by root 2, sorry. यही होगा ना? And
yes.
So simple question. Actually, now that I'm saying मेरे को 8 by root 3 मेरे को लगता है मैंने DI overview में गलत बोल दिया है. 8 by root 3 बोल लिख दिया शायद मैंने, but हो जाता है. 54 is a question that I will be a little cautious and I would recommend if you are not very comfortable, this is a question which can be confusing. Look at this 1 upon under root A15 plus under root A16 plus this. You will have to rationalize this. And if you are not comfortable with that, and uske pehle bhi you have to do some work. A4 is equal to 3A6. A16 is A72. So A16 is A plus 15D. A plus 3D is equal to 3 into A plus 5D. Or you could work with respect to A4, but you need to work your way through. This is going to be time consuming, and unless you are very comfortable with the process, good question to leave. Same question 55. If after reading the question you don't know what to do with it, good question to leave. The bottom line being, you only do those questions which you are sure of solving. Question 56 is again a question if you have comfort with permutation combinations. If you know that basic funda that NC0 plus NC1 plus NC2 up to NCN is equal to 2 to power n, it's a straightforward question. If no, don't try to make cases, leave it and move on. Yeah. 57 तो वही ज्योमेट्री वाला ही है.
2 root 13.
Yeah, whatever. It's the same hexagon बनाओगे. It's a again 2-step process. 30, 60, 90.
Pythagoras theorem, sir.
There's a 30, 60, 90 right triangle wala question. 58 again is a question which I think most people should be leaving, because you can say that minus a upon x square sec square is equal to that a upon x square something is equal to 20. But then the question is asking for minimum value for natural for a, the minimum value of the function 980, find a. Again, many of you will be uncomfortable with maxima minima. Don't waste time. Just keep moving. Okay. 59 should have been straightforward, I would believe. 60, unless you are comfortable with logs, not a good question. 61 is straightforward. 61 is a straightforward question. 62 will be time consuming, solvable, but will be time consuming because you'll have to make those cases x equal to 0, 0. I think the key numbers are -1 and 0. Less than -1, between -1, 0, or greater than 0, you can solve it. Okay. But 64 should be straightforward. Calculation would be there. Okay. 65, again, would be a struggle for many people. 66, apply the choice and solve. Choice -7 plus 14 should be a multiple. Choice -7 into 4 by 5 plus 14 should be a multiple of 5. So the answer, I think, is choice 3. 52 minus 7 is 45. 52 है कौन सा है? नहीं, sorry, my 1/5 था. 52 minus 7 is 45. 1/5 is 9, so 36 left. 36 plus 14 is 50. Yeah. Your choice -7 into 4 by 5 plus 14 should be equal to a multiple of 5. And that should give you the answer. So when I look at this paper, I would say, yes, this was a paper in which about 15 questions were definitely doable. Siddha, you did not Siddha, sorry, Lovely. Siddha, that you could not read time was up. Why was time up? That means somewhere you have wasted time. Somewhere you have wasted time, and hence you should be clearly looking at where exactly you have wasted time, so that next time you are able to leave those questions earlier. Silky Negi is again saying, GP sir knows better than me what I'm uncomfortable with. Silky, I'm just saying what I know most students are uncomfortable with. And this is not going to be what is true for you, may not be true for others. But the important thing is, now that you have taken this paper and a few earlier papers, can you look at what are the kind of questions you are uncomfortable solving? So 2 actions to be taken based on that. Action 1, start revising those questions. Action 2, till the time you get comfortable, keep them for round 2. Yeah, Krishna says 15 only. Yes, Krishna, I agree. 15 is a low score. Okay. Krishna, the question again I will ask you is your speed an issue or are you wasting time in questions? Okay, Krishna, look at this in this way. How many questions were there which you started to solve, spent 2 to 3 minutes, were not able to solve and then left that question? That is where you have wasted time. So speed is usually not an issue. Time wasted is usually an issue. Okay, if that is not the issue, then maybe something else is there, and maybe then you need to practice or rather revise a little more.
Yeah, I think JP, I'll just want to add to that. How do I increase my speed? See, speed is a skill, and so is accuracy. Okay, both of them are skills, and how do you develop skills? A carpenter has only one skill, वो दिन रात आरी चलाता है. And how has he developed that skill? वो 10 साल से आरी चला रहा है. What it means is that if you do one type of question once, and then you go to the next variety of the question, and you do next variety of question, and you said you have done 10,000 questions, all of different varieties, your skill will still be at a almost 10 percentile level only. Because you've seen all difficulties. It's like facing 10 balls in a net practice, and for all 10 balls are different. You'll get out on bouncer also, you'll get out on Yorker also. I think skill, both speed and accuracy, can be developed by solving and resolving the same question again, revising the same question again. Because what happens is, though it may not add additional value to you कि आप कुछ नया सीख रहे हो, but let me tell you, there is science. Science says कि तेरा brain है ना, brain के अंदर there are neurons. Those neurons need to get ignited. When you solve the same type of question again and again, 3-4 times, your neurons typically learn that ability of solving problems. And when that happens is when you will be able to do questions in a simpler manner. The first time you look at a question, even I look at a question for the first time मैंने ऐसा variety का कोई question देखा, I'll probably take 5 minutes for quant. I don't know. I may end up taking 5 minutes. But the second time I look at the same question, I'll probably only take 3 minutes. And the next time I am solving that question, I'll solve it within 2 minutes. Because the third time or the fourth time, I have reinforced my learning and I now know what are the steps that I can omit. And that is when I will be able to develop my own jugaad for that question.
And in fact, Ravi, one just small thing I want to add to what you're saying. It is not that while doing the paper, jugaad comes to you. Some of the jugads are standardized jugads. And secondly, while doing a paper, I'll do maybe 60% of jugads will come. The balance 35% jugads will come when I look at the question second time, third time, fourth time. So please remember, jugad is a function of how many times are you looking at the question also. Because the first time you are looking at the question, you are looking at getting the answer, solving it. Next time you look at, okay, what are the other ways of doing it? What else can I do? Okay, this is also there. So many times the jugaad will come in the second or the third or many times in the fourth iteration of this question, not the first iteration.
Correct.
Okay. So Lekha says, sufficient time to go from 46 to 95. So Lekha, sufficient time to go to from 46 to 99.9. Time is not an issue.
I think, GP, the correct question to ask Sulekha is how many questions did you attempt? If you have attempted 30 questions, that means if you have attempted 90 marks worth questions, you felt that you know 90 marks and you made mistakes to come down to 46. That means you have the capability to do 90 marks. Somehow you didn't get it right on that day, at that time. If you have done that, then you already have that ability to go to 90 marks from 46.
In fact, Harshita has asked one more question. When is the next mock? She's planning for the next one now. So, beta CDC Flexi 7 is on 29 June next. So, next mock may you can give a better attempt.
But before that, what you need to do is go through all the question of Quant DILR again. The one which you solved correctly, great. Go through them again still and see if there's any alternate solution possible. The ones you could not solve them yourself. If you still can't solve, then look at the video solution or the text solution. And then after that, get the hint and then try solving it yourself. Still can't solve, go to the complete solution. Okay? And then revise those questions, the ones which you are struggling with. That is the complete process that you need to do, and make sure you keep looking at those so-called difficult questions on a regular basis. Then in the next paper, you'll be much better equipped to get a higher score.
GP, I have an interesting question which we face every year from Bharat. Some days I'm good in RC, some days I'm good in Quant, but other two sections I always get bad. भाई कोई रिलेशनशिप नहीं है, मतलब वर्बल अच्छा गया तो क्वांट खराब जाएगा और क्वांट अच्छा गया तो वर्बल तो तू कर चुका है क्वांट आते आते. So there is no relationship that one, so first of all get it out of your mind. If one goes bad, the other two always go wrong. Okay, it is an observation, fair enough. It is not a consistent observation and it will change. So don't worry about it. Right? Just try to, Ravi quoted GP saying that each of these are 3 different papers. Deal with them as 3 papers without any hangover from one to another and solve them with, in those 40 minutes, you just give it all. That's all you're supposed to do.
Yes. Saptishi has a question. I could solve 6 questions, but I could solve 13 in 3 attempts. So Saptishi, good news is your knowledge base is fine. So you are capable of getting a reasonably good score. Okay. Now the next thing would be, where did you waste time? I'll keep coming back to this. Bhaiya, time waste kahan kiya tumne? If you knew 13 questions and you solved only 6, obviously somewhere you have wasted time. Identify that, and most probably it will be because of trying to attempt questions which you are not comfortable with. If you stop those attempting those uncomfortable questions, you will be able to attempt these remaining questions also.
I think Vaibhav has asked this question multiple times, GP. Ravi sir and GP sir, how many QA questions aggregate during our prep to be solved and to be comfortable in the QA section? I don't think there is any correct answer to this question, Vaibhav. Okay. Every one of us will have our internal strength within one particular topic. For example, I don't practice number system, but I practice algebra to keep relevance. Okay. So I require that additional practice in algebra and geometry maybe. I don't require that additional practice in arithmetic or number system for myself. That's how I look at it. So each of the topics, when you are looking at it, when you will stop solving that topic or practicing that topic only once you are starting to feel comfortable with that, and then you do at least one more round of revision of that, and you are getting 70-80% of questions at least correct, then you leave it. That may be 100 questions per a topic, or that could be 200 questions or 500 questions per topic also. You have to keep doing it till the time you feel comfortable in approaching a question, at least till the time you feel comfortable in judging the question ki ye mere se banega ya nahi banega. Till that level you have to go.
शक्ल पहचाननी सीख गए तो ठीक हो जाएगा
बस.
ठीक है. Okay. So anything else, Ravi and Sazil?
No, I think we are done.
So I will. Okay, okay. So we are done. So that's fine because I have a class in a few minutes. So I thought if there's something else, then maybe I'll have to drop off.
Same here, GP.
Okay, then. Okay. So great. So please, just to before we close the session, please go through all the solutions yourself first. If you can't solve the questions, then go to the video and the text solutions. And please identify the right questions to attempt. That is the basic learning you need to have. Okay. So we'll meet again after the next paper. Good night. All the best.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye bye.